dramatic monologues. He has written many beautiful dramatic monologues, and one of those dramatic monologues we have already done, and that was कौन सी
The
dramatic
last fight
monologue?
together.
The
The
last
last
fight
ride together.
together. So his poems, they basically focus upon a personality and bring out the good and the bad of that person. Now, this poem, as the name suggests, is about Rabbi Ben Ezra. Now, Rabbi, you all know, Rabbi are the priests of Jewish religion. जो Jews होते हैं, उनके जो priest होते हैं, उनको हम क्या कहते हैं? Rabbi. So, Rabbi Ben Ezra was a real character. He belonged to 14th century, and though the character is real, we are not sure the views that are being presented through his mouth are his own views. They appear more like the views of Browning himself, है ना? तो Browning ने क्या किया है? उन्होंने एक real character लिया है, but that real character becomes a mouthpiece of his own philosophy. जो ब्राउनिंग की philosophy है लाइफ को लेके, लव को लेके, उसी को जो है एक्सप्रेस करता है this character on which the poem is focused upon. It is again a very long poem. Okay, so now you can see the poem on my screen.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this poem is about growing old. आपकी जो poem start है वो कहाँ से start है? Grow old along with me. So the speaker, he is inviting all the other people to be open about, to be more positive about growing old. And in the course of the whole poem, he explains to us what is good about old age. Generally, we associate old age with disease, fatigue, है ना? हम ओल्ड एज को जनरली किस पे कैसे देखते हैं? एक नेगेटिव तरीके से हमारा देखने की आदत है कि वी लूज ब्यूटी, हमारी ब्यूटी खत्म हो जाती है, जो हमारी फिजिकल पावर है वो कम हो जाती है ना? सो जनरली पीपल लैमेंट अबाउट ओल्ड एज. लैमेंट अबाउट मतलब उसके जब भी ओल्ड एज को सोचते हैं उस तो वो दुखी होते हैं. But here, on the other hand, you find a very positive attitude towards growing old in this poem. Grow old along with me, the best is yet to be. The last of life, for which the first was made, our times are in his hand, who saith, a whole I planned, youth shows but half, trust God, see all, nor be afraid. No, so he is calling old age to be the best part of life. Why? And he also says the last of life for which the first was made, the youth. Before old age, उससे पहले हमारा कौन सा टाइम होता है? यूथ का. तो जो this youth is the time in our life which prepares us, or which culminates in old age. So what is he trying to say? That to be human, we have to experience both the phases of life, youth and old age. अगर आपको अपनी लाइफ में जो है को अच्छी तरह से एक्सपीरियंस करना है, उसका फुल एक्सपीरियंस लेना है, तो आपको क्या करना है? आपको दोनों एजेस को इक्वली एंजॉय करना होगा. A whole I planned, youth shows but half, trust God, see all, nor be afraid. This is how God has made us, that we are young for some time and then we become old. So instead of running from old age, we should try to enjoy both the phases of life. Not that, amassing flowers, youth sighed, which rose make ours, which lily leave and then as best recall. Not that, admiring stars, it yearned, nor Jove nor Mars, might be some figured flame which blends, transcends them all. Okay, so what is he saying in the second stanza? Now, flowers, rose, the poet is talking here about flowers, and in flowers, he's talking about two flowers, rose and lily. Rose is symbolic of youth, and lily is symbolic of death or old age. So, what is he saying? Youth side, which rose make ours, which lily leave, and then is best recall. So, he's saying, um, why should we be interested only in rose and not in lily? Both the flowers are equally good. Not that admiring stars it yearned, nor Jove nor Mars, mine be some figured flame which blends, transcends them all. So he's saying um, youth and old age, they form a full complex. Hmm? You cannot escape old age and you cannot enjoy old age without youth, and you cannot enjoy your whole life without enjoying your old age, you know. So whether it is rose or whether it is lily, we have to enjoy both the things. Okay, nor Jove nor Mars. What is Jove? Jove किसको कहते हैं? Hmm? मार्स तो आपको पता है ना? मार्स इज अ प्लैनेट. Hmm? But what is
Yes, ma'am.
Jove?
Yes, ma'am.
And what is Jove?
I think Brihaspati plant.
Jove is also a planet,
No,
Yes,
ma'am.
it is.
but we have not heard. हमने सारे planets पढ़े हैं, but हमने Jove का नाम नहीं पढ़ा. Hmm?
Jove is not a planet.
So what is Jove? I'll come to it. Let us move forward, and then I will come back to this point. Not for such hopes and fears, annulling youth's brief years, do I remonstrate. Folly wide and mark, rather I prize the doubt. Low kinds exist without, finished and finite clods, untroubled by a spark. Now, youth is supposed to be very limited to certain years. Hmm? So what is he saying? That we have youth which is very less, which is very limited. So we should not waste it in uh, thinking or fearing the old age. Do I remonstrate? Folly wide the mark, rather I prize the doubt. Low kinds exist without, finished and finite clods, untroubled by a spark. So what is he saying now? Prize the doubt. We are always in the doubt what kind of old age is we are going to have. So he's saying that we keep on wasting our youth by thinking what our old age will bring, how painful is it going to be, and how we are going to suffer in old age. But instead of that, we should focus upon enjoying youth, and then if we are able to enjoy our youth, then we will be able to enjoy our old age too. Poor want of life indeed, were man but formed to feed on joy, to solely seek and find and feast. Such feasting ended then, as sure an end to mean. Irks scare the cropful bird, frets doubt the more crammed beast. Now he is making a comparison between an animal and a human being. What is the difference between an animal and a human being? Hmm? What is the difference between a man
Ma'am,
and
there
hmm.
are many
Emotions, I
differences
think.
between man and animals.
But what is the basic difference?
Ma'am,
What makes us human?
animals can't speak.
Okay, animals can't speak and
Ma'am, emotions, I think.
emotions.
Yes, ma'am.
Uh, Humans have a purpose in life. Hmm? Animal life is all about survival. What they see is that they have to hunt, they have to feed, and then they have to repeat this routine again the next day. But human beings have a purpose in life. They think that they are meant to do certain thing, and then they chase their dream. So what if we lose this purpose in life? If we think that our only purpose in life is to enjoy, जैसे कि हम यूथ में करते हैं ना, यूथ इज फुल ऑफ एनर्जी, जहाँ पे आपका जो पूरा फोकस होता है कि आप क्या करो, आप लाइफ को कैसे एंजॉय करो. And if there is only this phase in our life where when we are focused only upon enjoying life and we do not have any higher purpose in life, then we become like animals. ठीक है, तो ये हायर पर्पस कहाँ से आता है? जब when we start getting old, we become more sincere, we become more mature, and we start thinking more rationally. So he is saying that if we lose this purpose in life, if we negate the importance of old age, then we are reduced to being an animal. Rejoice we are allied to that which doth provide and not partake, effect and not receive. A spark disturbs our clod, nearer we hold of God, who gives than of his stripes that make, I must believe. Now we are coming across this word again and again, spark and clod. What is clod and what is spark? Now clod is mud. Hmm? जो बेसिक अर्थ होती है, जो बेसिक मिट्टी होती है, उसको हम क्या कहते हैं? क्लॉड. सो वी आर, ऐसा कहते हैं ना कि ऑल ह्यूमन बीइंग्स आर मेड ऑफ अर्थ, मेड आउट ऑफ अर्थ, है ना? और जब हम मर जाते हैं तो भी क्या होता है? वी आर रिड्यूस टू अर्थ. So when God made us out of clay, he gave us a spark, a divine spark, and this makes us human. और ये डिवाइन स्पार्क क्या है? Where we have a higher purpose to our life. Rejoice we are allied to that which doth provide and not partake, effect and not receive. A spark disturbs our clod, nearer we hold of God, who gives than of his tribes that take, I must believe. Hmm. So he's saying that we are the only creation of God which is nearer to him, the nearmost creation of God. Nearmost in the sense that we can think like God, we can be kind, है ना? जो godly qualities होती है वो क्या होती है? That God is benevolent, God is um, he knows all, है ना? तो जो एक इन्हीं सब qualities का not in that amount but little amount even the humans partake. Hmm? So we have the qualities, some of the qualities that God has, and this is the spark that God has given us. And therefore, we should try to make the best of it, not waste it. Then welcome each rebuff that turns earth's smoothness rough, each sting that bids nor sit nor stand but go. Be our joys three parts pain, strive and hold cheap the strain, learn nor account the pang, dare never grudge the throw. Okay, so he's saying then welcome each rebuff. Rebuff matlab disappointments. Hmm? We should welcome our disappointments. अगर हमारी लाइफ में जो है we are striving to get something and we do not get that, then should we feel disappointed? अकॉर्डिंग टू ब्राउनिंग हमें क्या करना चाहिए? अगर हमें कुछ चाहिए और हम उसके लिए बहुत दिन से जो है उस पर फोकस कर रहे हैं, उसके लिए ट्राई कर रहे हैं, बट अल्टीमेटली वो नहीं मिलता, देन व्हाट शुड वी डू? हमें दुखी होना चाहिए या फिर उसको छोड़
Ma'am,
देना चाहिए?
we should welcome the disappointment and move on.
Yes, we should welcome the disappointments and also try to learn from our mistakes. And then we should try harder. हमें उसको वहाँ छोड़ना नहीं है. We should try harder. हमने जितनी मेहनत करी थी उससे और ज़्यादा हमें मेहनत करनी है again to get what we want. Strive and hold cheap the strain. Learn, nor account the pang. Dare never grudge the throw. For thence a paradox, which comforts while it mocks. Shall life succeed in that it seems to fail? What I aspired to be and was not comforts me. A brute I might have been, but would not sink in the scale. So he's saying we are presented with a paradox. Paradox मतलब paradox क्या होता है? What is a paradox? Hmm? When two opposites come together, जब दो opposite साथ में आते हैं तो क्या होता है? Paradox create होता है. और यहाँ पे क्या paradox create हो रहा है? That disappointments lead to success. राइटर क्या कह रहा है कि जो हमारे डिसअपॉइंटमेंट्स हैं वो सक्सेस के बराबर हैं. कैसे? क्योंकि जब हम डिसअपॉइंटमेंट्स हमें लाइफ में मिलते हैं तो हम क्या करते हैं? हम और भी ज्यादा मेहनत से आगे बढ़ने की कोशिश करते हैं. एंड दैट भले ही आपको वो गोल मिले ना मिले, लेकिन द थिंग दैट यू आर स्ट्राइविंग, दैट यू आर ट्राइंग, दैट यू आर वर्किंग हार्ड, इट मेक्स यू अ सक्सेस. सक्सेस का मतलब ये नहीं है कि आप सिर्फ ये नहीं है कि आपने आपका जो गोल है वो अचीव कर लिया. सक्सेस उसमें भी है जब आप रियलाइज करो कि अगर आप नहीं गोल अचीव कर पाए, सो व्हाट वाज द प्रॉब्लम एंड यू वर्क अपॉन दैट प्रॉब्लम एंड इम्प्रूव योरसेल्फ. ठीक है? सो हियर लाइज द पैराडॉक्स दैट डिसअपॉइंटमेंट इज सक्सेस. इट इज इम्पोर्टेंट टू ट्राई. जो हम कहते हैं ना कि इट इज इम्पोर्टेंट टू ट्राई, whether you achieve your goal or not, that does not matter. What is he but a brute, whose flesh has soul to suit, whose spirit works lest arms and legs want play? To man, propose this test, thy body at its best. How far can that project thy soul on its lone way? So he's saying that our body is just a suit for our soul. It is our body is the thing that protects our soul. Okay, so soul is more important than body. And what we do, we keep on focusing upon the flesh and ignoring the soul. अगर आप सिर्फ और सिर्फ अपने फ्लैश पे, अगर आप सिर्फ और सिर्फ अपने आउटवर्ड ब्यूटी पे जो है कॉन्सेंट्रेट करते रहोगे तो धीरे धीरे क्या होगा? आपकी जो सोल है दैट वुड कीप ऑन डिटीरियोरेटिंग. क्या होती जाएगी? वो धीरे धीरे उसके अंदर जितने भी द लाइफ इट हैज, इट विल कीप ऑन dying. The body at its best, how far can that project thy soul on its lone way? So how long will you be able to survive if you are not paying attention to your soul? Yet gifts should prove their use. I own the past profuse, of power each side, perfection every turn. Eyes, ears took in their dole, brain treasured up the whole. Should not the heart beat once? How good to live and learn. So he's saying all the gifts that have been given to us by God, we should treasure them. और हमें गॉड से क्या गिफ्ट मिले हैं? यूथ, as well as old age. Our eyes, our ears, our brain, our heart, ये सब क्या है? ये सब हमारे गिफ्ट्स हैं गॉड की तरफ से, और हमें क्या करना है? We have to work for the development of everything. We should not focus upon a particular part of our life, but we should focus upon improving life as a whole. And that means you should hold important youth as well as old age. जो सारे ये जो आपके ये आर्ग्यूमेंट्स जो है वो ब्राउनिंग दे रहा है, वो अल्टीमेटली किस पर्पस से दे रहा है? वो बताना चाहता है आपको कि यूथ एंड old age, they are entangled together. You cannot enjoy your youth until you learn the importance of old age. तो आपको ये याद रखना है कि जितने भी आर्ग्यूमेंट्स हैं ब्राउनिंग के, दे आर focused towards proving one single argument, and that is that youth and old age, they are complementary to each other, and we cannot enjoy one and ignore the other. We should learn to live the whole life. Not once beat, praise be thine, I see the whole design. I, who saw power, see now love perfect too. Perfect I call thy plan. Thanks that I was a man. Maker, remake, complete. I trust what thou shalt do. So now the rabbi, he's feeling very thankful to God. And why is he feeling thankful to God? यहाँ पे ही क्या कह रहा है वो? Praise be thine, है ना? He is thanking God for what?
Ma'am, for giving the gifts.
See, when he was young, he thought power was everything. He became a rabbi and he held power over people in the sense that he was leading the whole village, या जो भी उसका church था, the whole congregation was led by him. So when he was young, he thought power was everything. But as he started growing old, he realized that it was love which was more important in life. ना, तो जैसे जैसे हम एज करते हैं, we tend to learn new things in our lives. We tend to treasure different things in our lives. है ना? So now when he is old, he is thanking God that now he can understand what life is. जो उसने यूथ में उसने जो भी एक्सपीरियंस किया, that was just a partial experience of life. Now that God has given him opportunity to be old and enjoy old age, now he understands the whole plan which the God had created for him. अगर वो यूथ में ही if he would have died young, तो जो है जो उसका ओल्ड एज का जो पार्ट है उसने वो कभी एंजॉय ही नहीं किया होता, उसने कभी फील ही नहीं किया होता कि what it was that God had planned for him. है ना? तो वो किस लिए थैंक कर रहा है गॉड को कि जब अब वो ओल्ड है तो वो ज्यादा अच्छे से समझ पा रहा है कि हाउ गॉड रन्स दी अर्थ. गॉड जो है वो लोगों की लाइफ को कैसे इन्फ्लुएंस करते हैं और कितना उनका बड़ा रोल है टू डायरेक्ट पीपल ऑन अर्थ. Perfect I call thy plan, thanks that I was a man. Maker, remake, complete, I trust what thou shalt do. For pleasant is this flesh, our soul is in its rose mesh. Pulled ever to the earth, still yearns for rest. Would we some prize might hold to match those manifold possessions of the brute, gain most as we did best. Generally, what we believe is that youth is about energy and old age is about wisdom. जो हमारे अंदर इतनी एनर्जी होती है यूथ में, we experience a lot of things, और उन experiences को blend करके जब आप old हो जाते हो, then you tend to gain spirituality and understanding of how life and death works. Hmm. तो ये जो मेटाफिजिकल सेंस है, ये जो स्पिरिचुअलिटी है, ये कब आती है आपके अंदर? ओल्ड एज में. For present is this flesh, so it is good to enjoy the flesh. Flesh matlab the carnality or the energy that we have in our youth. Our soul in its rose mesh, pulled over to the earth, still yearns for rest. Would we some prize might hold to match those manifold possessions of the brute, gain most as we did best. Okay, so our soul and our body, जैसे कि पहले भी जो है यहाँ पे पोएट ने कंपैरिजन दिया था कि बॉडी इज द सूट ऑफ द सोल. द अल्टीमेट एम ऑफ ह्यूमन लाइफ इज द यूनिफिकेशन ऑफ स्पिरिट विद गॉड. हम ऐसा कहते हैं ना कि जब डेथ हो जाती है तो क्या होता है? आवर स्पिरिट इट यूनाइट्स विद गॉड, है ना? It is not the end, it is the beginning of a new thing. So this sense, this spirituality, this yearning to unite with God, it comes in the old age. Let us not always say, spite of this flesh today, I strove, made head, gained ground upon the whole. As the bird wings and sings, let us cry, all good things are ours, nor soul helps flesh more, now that flesh helps soul. So what is he saying now? Let us not always say, spite of this flesh today. What is spite?
इसके बावजूद.
In spite of this flesh today, I strove, made head, gained ground upon the whole. So now again he is talking about the whole human experience, where the spirit and the body, they have their unique roles to play. As the bird wings and sings, let us cry, all good things are ours, nor soul helps flesh more now than flesh helps soul. How the body and soul, they are intertwined with each other. अगर हम सोचे कि हम डायरेक्ट, because old age is so good कि जो है हमें स्पिरिचुअलिटी जो है यंग एज में ही मिल जाए, ऐसा नहीं हो सकता. Because the experiences of young age, they lead us to spirituality. और अगर हम ये चाहें कि जो है हम we are not spiritual in the end, हमारी लाइफ वहीं खत्म हो जाए जहाँ पे कि हमारी यूथ खत्म होती है, that can also not happen. So spirituality and earthly enjoyment, they are intertwined with each other. We cannot experience one without experiencing the other. सोल जो है वो फ्लैश को हेल्प करती है, और जो फ्लैश है यहाँ पे फ्लैश refers to worldly joys. तो worldly joys जो है वो सोल को है, and soul it stands for spirituality. Worldly joys or spirituality क्या है? They are intertwined with each other. We cannot experience one without experiencing the other. Therefore I summon age to grant youth's heritage. Life's struggle having so far reached its term, thence shall I pass, approved, a man, for I removed from the developed brute, a god, though in the germ. Therefore I summon age. So what the writer is saying, कि I summon age. Summon age meaning I want old age to come and take over me. And by old age, he refers to spirituality. So he's saying that he wants to be spiritual. He has accepted being near to God. And old age is youth's heritage. Heritage क्या होता है?
विरासत.
विरासत है ना, जो हम यूथ में एक्सपीरियंस करते हैं, दैट मेक्स अस feel spiritual. Life's struggle having so far reached its term, then shall I pass approved a man, for I removed from the developed brute, a god, though in the germ. When we are young, we are developed brute. Brute is animal. Hmm? We are almost like animals when we are young. But when we become old, we tend to become like God. A God, though in the germ. हम लोग कभी भी godliness को equal नहीं कर सकते, but godliness के थोड़े बहुत elements जाके हमारे अंदर कब आते हैं, जब हम old होते हैं. And I shall thereupon take rest, ere I be gone, once more on my adventure, brave and new, fearless and unperplexed, when I wage battle next, what weapons to select, what armor to endue. So he has started thinking about his death. Hmm? After old age, what comes? It culminates in death. So he's saying that I'm prepared to die. And by dying, when he looks upon death, he does not looks upon death as a end. He looks upon death as a new beginning. Once more on my adventure, brave and new. When he will die, perhaps he will born again and have a new adventure which is very different from the present life. Youth ended, I shall try my gain or loss thereby. Leave the fire ashes, what survives is gold, and I shall weigh the same, give life its praise or blame. Young, or lay in dispute, I shall know being old. So now he is comparing youth and old age. Now, as आप लोगों ने फिनिक्स की स्टोरी सुनी होगी. फिनिक्स इज अ बर्ड. आप तो सबने हैरी पॉटर जरूर देखी या पढ़ी होगी, उसमें फिनिक्स बर्ड का रेफरेंस आता है. फिनिक्स इज अ बर्ड विच, कौन सी बर्ड होती है वो? फिनिक्स. क्या कैरेक्टरिस्टिक होती है फिनिक्स की? व्हाट इज फिनिक्स बर्ड स्पेशलिटी? कैसे अलग होती है वो सारे बर्ड से? इट टर्न्स इनटू एशेस. वो जल जाती है और वो एशेस में कन्वर्ट हो जाती है, और उसके बाद देन इट राइजेस अगेन टू बिकम अ बर्ड, है ना. तो यहाँ पे जो है ओल्ड एज है वो किससे कंपेयर की गई है? फिनिक्स से. Sorry, the transition between young age and old age is like the transition of this bird. ये जो है वो जल के फिर से जो है एक नया, you will find yourself in a new form जब आप young age से old age में transition करते हो. And I shall weigh the same, give life its praise or blame, young or lay in dispute, I shall know being old. So now that he is old, he can also understand his youth more clearly. When we are young, we have very confused इमोशंस, है ना. कई बार जो है हमें बहुत गुस्सा आता है, या फिर वी आर नॉट एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड इफ समथिंग बैड हैपेंड, व्हाट वाज द रीजन बिहाइंड इट. लेकिन जब आप ओल्ड एज, जैसे जैसे आप ओल्ड एज की तरफ बढ़ते हो, यू गेट टू हैव अ क्लियरर विजन ऑफ थिंग्स. Whatever is happening in your life, what is the reason behind it and how the things are happening. You have better understanding towards life. So all the disputes which you have in youth, you are able to see it more clearly, why they happened and what was the purpose behind those disputes. For note, when evening shuts, a certain moment cuts, the deed calls the glory from the grey, a whisper from the west shoots, Add this to the rest, take it and try its worth. Here dies another day. Now, here you can see the inverted commas. Hmm. What does it indicate? आपने देखा होगा जगह जगह जो है आप पोएम में इन्वर्टेड कॉमर्स हैं. What does it mean? What is the significance of inverted commas?
And it is kind of saying.
Yes, that the poem has been spoken by a person. Inverted commas का क्या indication होता है? That this is a direct speech, है ना? और आपको पता है कि dramatic monologue is spoken by the person
Yes,
जिसके
ma'am.
लिए monologue है.
Yes.
कहाँ पहुंचे थे हम? I lost the track of it.
It is also a dramatic monologue or not?
It is a dramatic monologue, though the listeners to whom this poem is addressed is not very clear. अब तक आपने जितनी भी ड्रामेटिक मोनोलॉग्स पढ़ी उसमें जो है लिसनर्स का भी रेफरेंस था, है ना. फॉर एग्जांपल जब आपने यूलिसीज पढ़ी थी तो उसमें यूलिसीज एड्रेसेस द मैरिनर्स, तो आपको पता था कि यूलिसीज वाज एड्रेस टू मैरिनर्स. सिमिलरली जब आपने लोटस ईटर्स पढ़ी थी तो उसमें देयर वाज अ रेफरेंस की द कैप्टन ऑफ द शिप इज स्पीकिंग टू द अदर सेलर्स, है ना, जो भी उसकी क्रू थी. सो देयर वाज अ क्लियर रेफरेंस की हु लिसनर्स आर in this poem. Similarly, the last ride together, maybe you know the
Yes, ma'am.
poem was being spoken to the beloved, but
Beloved.
in this poem it is not clear whom the listeners are, because there is no reference uh, in the whole poem to any listener. But yes, this is a dramatic monologue. Since he is a rabbi, we can surmise or we can conclude perhaps that he is speaking before a congregation. Congregation मतलब कि जो प्रेयर्स होती थी उस टाइम में, जो प्रीस्ट खड़े होके सरमन देते हैं, परहैप्स इट इज सम काइंड ऑफ अ सरमन, है ना. तो बट वी डू नॉट हैव अ वेरी क्लियर रेफरेंस एज टू whom he is speaking on this.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, the lines without inverted commas are also spoken by the person.
Yes, that is why I went back to see कि जो है कुछ lines जो है वो inverted commas में है, कुछ नहीं है, but actually this whole is the speech of the rabbi, है ना.
Yes, ma'am. Then what's the difference between them?
Yes, this is what I was wondering. I think it is just and I don't know where this maybe this is some kind of misprint, because the inverted commas are not starting anywhere. ये जो आपका है ना,
No, ma'am. It is there in my book.
है ना, तो मे बी here it is not there. तो
Like this line, add
अच्छा,
this to the
add this
rest.
to the rest, take it and try its worth. Here dies
Yes, ma'am.
another day. Okay, okay, yes, it is here. But the whole poem is actually being spoken by the rabbi.
Yes, ma'am.
Maybe it is for emphasis that this has been enclosed into inverted commas. Okay, so where we were, for note, when evening shuts, a certain moment cuts.
Yes, ma'am.
For note, when evening shuts, a certain moment cuts the deed of, calls the glory from the grey, a whisper from the west shoots, add this to the rest, take it and try its worth, here dies another day. So when you start aging, every day becomes very important for you. Hmm. So As a day ends, you keep on nearing towards your death. You know, when evening shuts, evening here refers to the evening of your life. A certain moment cuts the deed off, calls the glory from the grey. Grey again here refers to old age. A whisper from the west shoots, add this to the rest, take it and try its worth. Here dies another day. So when you are old and you are nearing towards death, every single day becomes very important in your life. Now, when you are young, you know that you have the whole life ahead of you and you keep postponing things, है ना? आपको लगता है कि अभी तो मेरे पास बहुत टाइम है, तो ये मैंने आज नहीं किया, तो I can do this tomorrow. But when you get old, every day becomes very important to you because you have this sense inside you that perhaps I may not live another day to complete this task. So within this, so still within this life, though lifted over its strife, let me discern, compare, pronounce at last. This rage was right in the main, that acquiescence vain. The future I may face now, I have proved the past. So when you are old, you have this sense of pride. And what is the sense of pride? That the future I may face now, I have proved the past. What is the future here? कौन सा
The
future?
old age,
Old age, है ना? And what is past?
the youth.
The youth. Since you have lived your youth, you have this sense of um, you have this confidence that I have enjoyed my youth. Now I am ready to embrace my future. I am ready to embrace my old age. For more is not reserved to man with soul just nerved to act tomorrow what he learns today. Here work enough to watch the master work and catch hints of the proper craft, tricks of the tool's true play. To act tomorrow what he learns today. So whatever you learn you in your youth, the wisdom from it that comes to you in the old age. Here, work enough to watch the master work and catch hints of the proper craft, tricks of the tools through play. So, in youth, youth is the time when you work. Hmm? You are most productive. लेकिन the sense that you have learned your craft, it comes in the old age. जैसे कि आप कहते हो ना कि जो youth है वो क्या है, वो आपका it is the time when you work, और जो आपका old age है वो क्या है, experience. See, when people are old, आप बहुत सारे ओल्ड लोगों से मिले होंगे, आई एम श्योर आपकी फैमिली में जो ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स मस्ट भी दे, तो अगर आप उनके साथ बैठ जाओ तो वो क्या बातें करते हैं कि जो है जब हम यंग थे तब हमने ये किया, है ना, या फिर वो कोई बहुत ऐसा आपको इंसिडेंट सुनाएंगे कि जो है ऐसा हो गया था, फिर हमने ऐसे किया, इसको ऐसे ठीक किया, है ना. सो old age is the time when you make sense of everything and you learn, or you rather draw conclusions from what you had been doing. As it was better, youth should strive through acts uncouth toward making than repose on aught found need. So better age exempt from strife should know than tempt further. Thou waitest age, wait death, nor be afraid. So now what the writer is saying? Better age exempt from strife should know than tempt further. He's saying you've had a lot of strifes in your youth. you had been working hard towards getting many things. And finally, when you are old, you should not tempt yourself further. You should stop and be content, because now you have to prepare for the final moment of your life, and that is death. ऐसा बोलते हैं ना आपको कि ओल्ड एज में आप लोग देखते हो कि जो है अब हम लोग को जो लोग ओल्ड होते हैं वो कहते हैं अब हमको मोह माया छोड़ देनी चाहिए, क्योंकि अब हमारा टाइम आ गया है कि जो है ये सब चीजें खत्म हो, है ना? So the same sentiment the writer is expressing here, the speaker is expressing here, that youth is the time when you are very productive, you keep on striving for new things, but when old age comes, you should start shedding your temptations, you should start shedding your desires and start preparing for death. Enough now, if the right and good and infinite be named here, as thou callest thy hand thine own, with knowledge absolute, subject to no dispute, from fools that crowded youth, nor let thee feel alone. Okay, so now what the speaker is saying, enough now. If the right and good and infinite be named here, as thou callest thy hand thine own, with knowledge absolute, subject to no dispute, from fools that crowded youth, nor let thee feel alone. So he is calling, he's saying that when we are young, we are foolish. We make decisions which are not well thought, and we do not understand what is happening in our lives. But as we near, as we become old, our knowledge becomes absolute. We have we become more confident, and we have faith in ourselves, you know, and no one can fool us again. Be there for once and all, severed great minds from small, announced to each. It's 352. I think I would skip to the end. This is such a long poem
Yes,
because
ma'am. 32 stanzas are there.
32 stanzas. I will come to the portion. In the end, the poet, he makes a comparison where God is, um, he compares God with a potter. आपने देखा होगा कि जब एक पॉटर जो है वो पॉटरी बनाता है ना? कभी आप लोगों ने ट्राई किया है पॉटरी व्हील पे जो है अपना हाथ या कुछ पॉट बनाने की कोशिश करी है कभी?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
लेकिन आपने देखा जरूर होगा पॉटरी व्हील पे,
Yes,
है ना?
ma'am.
हाथ से वो
Yes,
प्रेशर
ma'am.
देते हैं और वो जो है व्हील जो है वो घूमती रहती है. सो ही इज कंपेयरिंग अ ह्यूमन बीइंग विद दैट पॉट एंड गॉड विद अ पॉटर. ठीक है, गॉड जो है वो क्या है? वो पॉटर है, और जो हाथ से वो पॉटरी बन रही है वो कौन है? वो है ह्यूमन बीइंग्स. सो द प्रेशर जो हमारी लाइफ में हम फील करते हैं, those pressures are the things which form our character, है ना? जैसे कि पॉटर जो है जैसी शेप देनी होती है वैसे ही हैंड से प्रेशर लगाते हैं उस पे, है ना? और जो है फिर वैसे ही वो पॉट हो जाता है. कहाँ पे ज्यादा प्रेशर देना है, कहाँ पे कम देना है, दैट डिपेंड्स ऑन द शेप. उसी पे सारी जो है पॉटरी की शेप डिपेंड करती है. So, human beings, we should not take disappointments, or we should not take the difficulties that we face in life as something negative. वो जो हम अपनी difficulties face करते हैं लाइफ में, वो it is a way of God to form our character. जब अगर आपकी लाइफ में difficulties आएंगी ही नहीं, आप face ही नहीं करोगे, then you will become complacent, you will become overconfident, you will not understand the importance of life. So, me show you in the poem where it
Ma'am,
is.
that is why the poet also welcomes the disappointments also.
दैट इज व्हाई ही वेलकम्स द डिसअपॉइंटमेंट ऑल्सो. और उसने कहा है कि डिसअपॉइंटमेंट एक्चुअली क्या है, सक्सेस है, क्योंकि वो हमें मोटिवेट करते हैं कि हम उसी काम को दोबारा करें और अच्छे से करें, है ना. और जो ये ग्रुप्स होते हैं पॉटरी के, या जो मतलब हमारी डिफिकल्टीज हैं, वो भी हमें क्या सिखाती हैं, वो हमारा कैरेक्टर फॉर्म करने में मदद करती हैं. हाँ. Time's wheel runs back or stops, potter and clay endure. He fixed the mid this dance of plastic circumstance, this present thou forsooth, wouldst fain arrest, machinery just meant to give thy soul its bent, try thee and turn thee forth sufficiently impressed. What though the earlier grooves which ran the laughing loves, around thy base no longer pause and press, and though about thy rim skull things in order grim grow out in graver mood, obey the sterner stress. Look not thou down but up to uses of a cup, the festal board, lamps flash and trumpets peal, the new wine's foaming flow, the master's lips aglow. Thou, heaven consummate cup, what needest thou with earth's wheel? So it is earth's wheel which keeps on pressing and pausing and turning us into um, a human being that is worth meeting the हेवन, है ना. यहाँ पे लिखा है हेवंस कंज्यूमेट कप. जो आपका कैरेक्टर बिल्डिंग जैसे जैसे प्रोसेस चलता रहता है, वैसे वैसे आप किसके पास आते जाते हो, टुवर्ड्स डिवाइन, टुवर्ड्स रीचिंग द गोल ऑफ attaining heaven. But I need now as then thee, God, who mouldest men, and since not even while the world was worst, did I to the wheel of life with shapes and colours strive, bound dizzily mistake my end to slake thy thirst. So take and use thy work, amend what flaws may lurk, what strain on the stuff, what warpings pass the aim, my times be in thy hand, perfect the cup as planned, let age approve of youth, and death complete the same. Okay, so what is the conclusion of the poem? That we should embrace our youth, our old age, and death with full intensity, because this is what makes us a perfect, a complete person, a complete man. And we should not be fearful of our disappointments. We should not be fearful of difficulties that we face in life, because it is these difficulties, it is these disappointments which give the perfect shape to our life and make us worthy of reaching our goal of uniting with the God. Okay, so this was the poem.
Ma'am, attendance.
Attendance के लिए बेटा I will share